Evelyn, Elsie, Sophie. Well, welcome you all. Some of you have been following our series of webinars in these past weeks. We are dedicating today a session to the archipelagos of Portugal, the archipelago of the Azores and Madeira, both in the Atlantic. We have invited some local expertise from these groups of islands. Eduardo is going to present first the archipelago of the Azores. He's going to tell you the most important elements of the archipelago, and then later on we will be visiting the archipelago of Madeira with Joana. We wish you a wonderful experience. Without further ado, and I know that more travel experts will be joining gradually this presentation, I pass the word and the presentation to Eduardo. Thank you for joining us. Eduardo, the floor is yours.
So, greetings from the Azores. I'd like to begin by thanking you all, especially João, for the opportunity, the honor, and the possibility of highlighting a few of the attractions that make the Azores the Flemish Islands, or the Isles of Flanders, as they were known due to the initial large Flemish settlement in the 15th century, what makes them such an exclusive European island destination. Since the dawn of Western civilization, we were named the Fortunate Islands by Plato, inspiring numerous myths and legends, inspiring authors like Jacobs, who positions the enigma of Atlantis here, and adventurers and explorers until present days, in which James Cameron's Atlantis Rising finds once again truly blessed island gardens located in the northeastern Atlantic, spread over a vast territory of about 1 million square kilometers, 10 times the size of continental Portugal, divided into 3 island groups: the eastern with Santa Maria and São Miguel, the central with Terceira, Graciosa, São Jorge, Pico, and Faial, and the western with Flores and Corvo, that are truly the gateway to Europe. With a year-round temperate climate due to the Azores high, like we prefer to say, that is why it is here that Europe's summer is born, and also the Gulf Stream. We are the result of 35-million-year-old lava flows that were tempered by the Atlantic waters, that molded them into the ideal settings to foster all sorts of land and sea-based adventures, encounters, unforgettable encounters with the friendly, magnificent giants that live among us or come to visit. 5 centuries of culture, resulting in an enormous, rich variety of architectural trends, diversity in performing arts, musical, religious, and several heritage trails: English, French, American, Jewish, and even Flemish, highlighting trends from the settlement days to present days, with, for example, Jacques Brel's visit to Faial in 1970. After coming back, he was taken around by a Flemish family living in the Azores, the Dekmotte family, to get to know the island and to get to know the locals even better. Or the invaluable contribution of the priests of the Congregation of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus Mary in Father Damien Seminary, educating the less fortunate and responsible for creating some of the most prominent cultural figures of the island of Terceira and the Azores, among others. Ideally located in terms of the main generating air traffic hubs on both sides of the Atlantic, we lay a mere 2 hours from Lisbon or Porto, on either of the 3 carriers to one of our 5 gateways, located on the islands of São Miguel, Santa Maria, Terceira, Pico, or Faial, from where you can access the other islands by air on SATA Air Azores or on ferry service in the central and western groups, with an excellent offer of land infrastructures and transports. Offering diverse, high-quality lodging, we delight our visitors with organic farm-to-table Azorean cuisine, among which our famous Flemish cheese, paired with UNESCO volcanic wines, beers, tropical fruit juices, mineral waters, Azorean coffee, and tea, turning each visit into a unique personal experience wanting to be repeated. With such natural magnificence and 5 centuries of the Azorean people's cultural boundaries, it is no surprise that the Azores is one of the 2 regions in the world holding all the classifications awarded by UNESCO. And due to the prudence and care with which we have managed the resources bestowed upon us, in 2019 we became the first archipelago in the world to be certified as a sustainable tourist destination. And at last year's World Travel Awards, distinguished as Europe's leading adventure tourism destination. The pillars of sustainability are thus a daily routine for all of us. Putting the well-being of our visitors and our people as our top priority gained us recognition as one of Europe's safest destinations in 2021, offering numerous safe, sustainable possibilities for a variety of activities and unforgettable adventures. We invite you to check out our website, where you can find more information, more detailed information about how to get here, how to get around, all the things you can do and where to stay. And don't forget to check our social media with the many great stories told by past visitors, and where you can later on also share your adventures with us. I'd like to finish virtually embracing you all with the warmth of the smile with which we welcome all those dear friends that come from afar to visit our 9 beautiful island gardens and play with the magnificent creatures that neighbor our shores. We bid you, please stay safe and keep traveling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eduardo, for sharing all your knowledge with us. for sharing this good presentation. I think most of the people that are following us know me and know that I live in Belgium for many years. And I'm always surprised by the fact that a group of islands in the middle of the Atlantic is relatively well known in Belgium as the pearl of a certain unspoiled nature. But I always find it very striking as well that it's totally unknown, the fact that a Flemish went that far and settled 500 years ago in the middle of the Atlantic. So if there is one message I would like to leave behind the travel experts at this moment, is that use and explore the links of Flanders with the Azores, because this makes the visit even more interesting. It's not only the contact with one of the most beautiful archipelagos on Earth, but it's also an historical link with Belgium that makes it even more special.
It's like visiting family and relatives.
Exactly, and then you see windmills and cows and the cheese. When I say in Belgium that the most common cheese in the Azores is called queijo flamengo, so Flemish cheese, it's very surprising. So it's a plus to invite your clients and yourselves to visit the Azores whenever possible. It's a beautiful, fantastic place where I really have the feeling that you are actually on the way to heaven, because nature and the unspoiled areas of the archipelago are so fabulous. But I would like to give the word to Joanna, another wonderful, fantastic nature location in the middle of the Atlantic. The archipelago of Madeira is maybe better known in Belgium as the Garden of the Atlantic. An association with flowers is often known in Belgium, but Madeira is a lot more than that. And actually the association of Madeira with flowers tends to be not really the scope of the promotion. So Joanna's going to tell us all about it. Thank you.
Thank you, João. Thank you, travel experts. Thank you, Martin, for allowing us to be here today. In the meantime, I'll try to share my screen. Just a moment. Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry. You know, technology is great when it works. When it doesn't work, it's just awesome.
We are very much in time. Go ahead. Take your time.
I'm not sure why, because we did a while ago. Because it's not showing up.
No, not yet.
No.
Yes, I know.
Oh, can you see now?
We see your screen. We don't. Yes.
Can you see the slide?
If you can put it on.
Yeah. Can you see it now? Oh, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, sorry for this glitch. You know, technology really, when it works, it's fantastic. When it doesn't work, it's like this. You have to deal with the improvisation. Well, thank you very much for having the time to be here today. It is really my pleasure to tell you all about Madeira, my hometown. So I'm coming to you from my living room, obviously, but here in Madeira, it's 20 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine? This is our winter. This is in fact fantastic. So it's not all places in January and in February that you get these amazing temperatures. So I felt this was the best way to start and actually to inspire you about Madeira. This is our current campaign. It will be a digital campaign, Madeira, where you feel connected. We felt that post-lockdown, people really wanted to be out there. We feel that you are more connected with yourself and with the environment around you when you are around nature, when you are among friendly people, when you are in a place where you have a millenary forest, when you have tropical fruits, where you have amazing flora and fauna. So this is the concept of our campaign, Madeira, where you feel connected. Because actually, as you know, we have a long tradition in tourism. So what is happening right now in Madeira? So unfortunately, as you know, you can't travel now to Madeira from Belgium, but fingers crossed that will change very, very soon. So what happens when you arrive at Madeira Airport? You can do a test that is totally for free. So you can do a C19 test, or you can bring a negative test done 72 hours prior. Okay, so basically what will happen now is that we will start having people that are already vaccinated. We have a green corridor for those people, so if you have been vaccinated, you just show your document that proves and attests that, and off you go. Off you go. You are free to go to your hotel and enjoy the destination. This is how simple it is. Don't worry, if you're not vaccinated, you can do the test upon arrival, go to your hotel, and then you receive the results in 12 hours. So this is pretty much very easy. And also we have an app called Madeira Safe, where you can upload your negative C19 test or your document that attests that you have been already vaccinated. So this is how simple as it gets. So let's see, I'm sure you know where Madeira is located. So basically we are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. There are a lot of cliches around Madeira, as João said, you know, the island of flowers. We're also told that we are the pole of the Atlantic. But in fact, this tiny, tiny dot in the map, this lost archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic, is really, really surprising. So as you can see, we are closer to the African coast than to Portugal, and we comprise also, like the Azores, we comprise an archipelago. So as you see in the middle there, you have Madeira, and then the sister island, she's the older sister, she's called Porto Santo. So both Madeira and Porto Santo are obviously inhabited, and then you would have these natural reservations here, selvagens and desertas, where you can do some exploring on these beautiful archipelagos here located south. So in terms of weather, as I was saying earlier, it's amazing. As you can see, there's not a big variation around the year. So we are an all year round destination. So even now you can see here that you have a lot of sunshine hours. So you can pack all these activities in one day. So the day is really, really long and it stretches. So 7 to 8 hours of sunshine in the winter. And then in the summer, you can get maximum temperatures of 26, 28, not too much. So winter is not too cold and summer is not too hot. So in terms of what about the sea? I mean, we Madeirans, we're crazy people. In fact, we enjoy what we have. We enjoy life, and we swim all year round because the sea temperature is amazing as well. So I'm in fact going for a dip next weekend if I have time. So the temperature of the sea right now is around 18 degrees. This is totally true. People think that, you know, the Atlantic is very cold, but because of the Gulf Stream, we get really good temperatures. And let's start by my favorite part. Let's start by the beginning. I always recommend that you stay based in Funchal. This is where the magic happens. You should explore Funchal, you know, on foot to get to see, you know, the highlights, the attractions, and why not start by Funchal's market, in Portuguese, Mercado dos Lavradores. So they have a wide variety of fruits, as you see here on the picture. Some fruits you don't know what to make of it. You don't know what it is. So on this picture, you have at least 3 kinds of passion fruit. You have here the prickly pear. And the best thing is that they allow you to taste. Can you imagine? You can taste all the passion fruits, all your favorite fruits in a way. So you have all the varieties of fresh meat, fish, some spices, also some vegetables. So I totally recommend you a trip to the market there. So it's really in the heart of the town. and next to the old town. In fact, this is the oldest part of town, so there's lots of to see and do, as you can see. And also we have a lot of cliches, you know, associated with the destination, you know, but there is so much to do. Madeira is not your let's say your typical beach destination, so you have a lot of activities all year round to do, good food, good wine, as we will see further ahead. But coming back to this, at the old town, you have these quirky restaurants, you have the painted door streets. So you see these images and this art on the doors of, you know, of the buildings there and of the restaurants. So this is, you know, a movement that started to turn this part of the town very lively and fun. And while you're at it, you can take the cable car to Monte to get to Monte village, where you can do tobogganing. I'm sure you have heard of the carros de cesto. This is pretty unusual, very cliche, but this is one of the top things, must-do things that you should do while in Madeira, the tobogganing. So these two ladies, they are laughing nervously down the hill, and they are powered by these two guys, and they push you downhill. So this is really, really fun and different and very unique. This was also a mean of transportation back in the 17th century, and this is you know, a tourist attraction. You should do it. Speaking of, you know, things to do, things to see, you know, our main product, you know, our core business is related to, you know, activities and nature. And nature was so beautiful and so generous with Madeira that we have, you know, the original indigenous forest, but also we have the gardens where you have the tropical species, the shrubs, the flowers. And, you know, there's lots of gardens that you can visit in Funchal. So here on the image, you have the botanical gardens, you have the Blandies garden. So if you are into gardens, or you have a client that is, you know, especially interested in nature and flowers, he or she will love Madeira. If you ask me, what is the best time to see flowers in Madeira? It's really difficult, because all year round you have, you know, many flowers, but the blooming season, flower power is really in May and April. That's why we usually have the flower festival during that time. So in terms of flowers, it's out of this world. Our forest, our indigenous forest, is the best place for you to do activities, actually. We are very protective of our forest, as you can imagine, because we are UNESCO. We have been considered since 1999, you know, natural heritage site. So as you can see, the forest is impressive, luxurious, dramatic. I usually say it's like a time machine broke down. It's like Jurassic Park, because she is overwhelming. And this is obviously related to our campaign. I mean, you are sort of, you know, very grateful. There's this huge gratitude because you are among this amazing forest, and then you feel so small, you know. It's that impressive. And she's like a rainforest, as you can see on this image. There are a lot of waterfalls. So while you are walking along the water channels, for example, as you see here on the image, these channels, these levadas, as they are called in Portuguese, so they bring water from the north to the south coast. And this rainforest it's very, you know, she is infinite. She has these amazing walks and trekking walks that you can do. So you can do this all year round. Don't worry, there's a wide variety of walks. There's 3 degrees of difficulty, so there's easy, moderate, and difficult. And this is related to the location, you know, to the inclination, and with the hills and the mountains that you come across. But as you can see, it's so green. So if you are into nature, you will love this, absolutely. Very in trend right now, not only for Belgium, but in an international way, it is mountain biking. So we have the perfect backdrop, the perfect weather to do some mountain biking, cross country and enduro. And obviously, as you can see, Madeira is also for a younger crowd, a younger segment of the market that really wants to do activities while they are on holidays. So it can be also for those adrenaline junkies. So I think I consider myself an adrenaline junkie because I really love to do canyoning. So, and I think João remembers our adventures along the canyoning and slide and rappel. So you do some walking.
Fantastic.
It's unforgettable, really. I do recommend. Obviously, don't look down because this is well, it could be higher, but you have these small canyons where you do some slide and rappel until you come down, and then you get to swim. So it's a very complete activity and fun, and you have that rubber suit, that strange rubber suit, your helmet. So it's a very fun activity to do with your friends. And trail running, you don't imagine, it is very popular with the locals also, and with international athletes, because obviously you have to have a certain fitness level. This is no joke. These trails, they are very technical, so you have to have a certain know-how, a certain experience to do this trail running. So it's basically running up there in the mountains from mountain to mountain. So we have the great temperature and great conditions. So we have been featured in most European events about trail running. So this is really in trend right now. If you are into golf, if you have a client that is looking to play golf in Madeira, we have 3 golf courses. So we have 2 in Madeira, and the third one is in Porto Santo, and this is Sister Island, same archipelago. So basically, you can do that while you're here. So you would have the Peleiro, which is 15 minutes from Funchal, and then you would have the Santo de Serra, which is 45 minutes from Funchal. And we're getting to one of my favorite topics. I get this question a lot. Does Madeira has any beaches? Can I have a tan while I'm there? So obviously, yeah, Madeira is not a beach destination, but we do have beaches. Most of them, they look like this. So these are really 2 good examples. You have these pebbles. So around the southwestern coast, you have these tiny bays with these lovely, lovely pebbly beaches. They are located right on the cliff, as you can see there. Nature did do that, so it's really unusual. And you spend a perfect day at the beach. And this location here, Fazenda dos Padres, it's really lovely. This is an organic farm, so they produce wine, they produce organic fruits. There's a restaurant down there. You can have some lunch and your glass of white wine while you're there. So it's a very good day. And there's no Wi-Fi there, which is perfect. I really love it. And you can switch off and get your mental detox. And that picture right there, don't forget the lava pools, the natural swimming pools, like we call them. So they exist mostly on the north of the island in Seixal and Porto Muniz, but this one here on the image, it's called Doca do Cavacas, and this is really close to the hotels area, so you don't have to drive long to see these pools. So they are really unusual, and this was the highlight of my holidays when I was a kid. This was it for me because it was so unusual. I could swim and see the fish underneath me, and you know, it is done by nature, so this is volcanic and very unique. So I think this is for kids. It's wonderful. Speaking of kids, this is specifically an activity they would love to see dolphins and whales. So this is not seasonal. You can do all year round. So we have all these different kinds of whales and dolphins that you can see while you're here. And so we have a protected forest and UNESCO, but also we have protected areas, you know, on sea and natural reservations. So some diving places you can already jump in from the shore, from the beach. You can go into the diving location. So this is how it is easy. And so we don't have any coral reefs in Madeira, but we do have some interesting, you know, marine landscape, as you see here on these images. You do have artificial coral reefs in Porto Santo, man-made for this specific diving activity. So this is pretty fun. Speaking of food, you know, we were talking about activities. I'm sure we're starving right now. We want to eat something, eat and drink. So gastronomy is fantastic, right, João? I think our food is amazing. I usually say that we don't have any calories in food. So there's a great variation of meat dishes and fish. Obviously, we are an island. We have a lot of fresh fish, the black scabbard, the tuna, but the institution of our gastronomy is really the garlic bread, bolo de caco here on your left. So this is done with flour, with sweet potatoes. So the texture is very moist and yummy, and you can have it with your espetada. So you put some garlic butter on it. So it's really amazing. So it's a good match with your lapas here, with these limpets. So this is the closest that we have to seafood. So as you can see, they are like small oysters, and they are sautéed with parsley, some lemon juice and garlic. And then you would have the spatata. So it's also a good pairing with your bolo de caco. So it's beef on a skewer. So as you can see, it's very Arabic inspired, but it's very, very good. So it's very yummy. And these two, what they're having poncha. And well, in a minute, they will feel very numb for sure, because the poncha is made with local rum, and that rum has, on average, 40 to 50% alcohol. So by the time they end that glass, they will be completely knocked out. They will be unconscious, because poncha is really, really strong, but it's our main drink. This is what we have when we go out. Even though Madeira wine is very, you know, it's very important for us, even though we keep Madeira wine for special occasions like, you know, end of year festivities, Christmas, or to have with your honey cake, or for a birthday. So I really recommend you to go for a wine tour if you into those activities. So there's some wine lodges in Funchal that you can do some wine tasting, and then they explain you how the wine is made. And also you can go into the rural areas where you can see where the vineyards are and how the wine is made. If you're here during the wine festival, you can actually participate in the wine making process, and you know, it's totally fun. They do it like in the old days with your feet. So it's a very dynamic activity. It's very special. And yes, last but not least, Porto Santo. Porto Santo, as you can see on the image, it's totally opposite of Madeira. So Madeira, it's green, it's for activities, you know, Jurassic Park. And then Porto Santo, she is like very arid. She's not that green because, you know, she doesn't have a lot of vegetation. So she had a different, let's say, evolution. She is actually older, you know, than Madeira. So she has these amazing beaches that we don't have. And I'm sure most of you don't know what Porto Santo is or where it's located. I usually say that Porto Santo is our best kept secret because nobody knows Porto Santo. So we promote the both islands. What you can do is spend a couple of days in Madeira and then head off to Porto Santo. There's a ferry that takes you to Porto Santo, and it departs from Funchal, capital. It takes 2 hours and 30 minutes, or heck, you can spend a full weekday in Porto Santo and then go back to Madeira, and then you manage your time. But it's a great match because they are totally different. It's very flat. You can do a bike tour around the island. This sand is very, very, it has therapeutical effects on your skin, on your bones. You can do some thalassotherapy in some of the hotels there. So it's a great match. It's also a great place to relax and disconnect, you know, because somebody knows you there. So it's a great place for you to get to know, because it's very, very unusual. So it's a great place for you to go. And wrapping up with our events, you know, this year in 2020 has been, you know, weird years that we really had to adjust to circumstances. So what we did is that we had our normal Christmas. We had the fireworks. Fireworks is normally on New Year's Eve. So we had that. So we made sure we adjusted to circumstances. last year, and then we had the wine festival as well. But we made sure we celebrated the events and that we had something to offer while the tourists were here during the summer. Now in 21, unfortunately, we had to cancel Carnival because it was going to be next week. So, and you know, everything is very uncertain, but we're having a live broadcast online, just a sample of our carnival to, you know, just to keep you inspired for next year. So obviously this is a very, you know, complex theme. So we really had to adjust to the circumstances of the pandemic. So I'm sure, and I hope that we can, by the second semester, do the events like in the old days with lots of people, lots of interaction and dynamics. Okay, so this last slide really sums up our unique selling points. I'm sure it was obvious that Madeira is more than a beach destination. Our continuous compromise and bet in turning the destination one of the safest regions in Europe. We were one of the pioneers to implement the testing upon arrival, and now with the whole vaccination, you know, procedure, you can put your document, your certification on the app, and then off you go. You have good wine, good food here, and I think, you know, Madeira for many people is your second home because people are so welcomed here, so very nicely welcomed as usual. So it's your second home, and this is where, like we say in our campaign, this is where you feel connected with yourself and with the environment around you. That is the only way. And I'll leave you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was not too long. Enjoy the video. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
You go, discover Madeira.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you for sharing all these knowledge, all this comprehensive structure of information. I think for the ones that have already been to Madeira, this brings probably wonderful memories. For the ones that have not been there yet, I really think this is an excellent presentation because it shows indeed that Madeira is a lot more than the flower island that is still the cliche associated with it. I often describe Madeira actually as a tropical floating mountain, and I think that is more what Madeira is all about than simply the garden of. So I invite the ones that have not been to Madeira yet to go there, or even if you've been there a couple of years ago, just go there again. Things keep evolving into a much more active location, a lot more for younger families, for people that are looking for contact with nature, but at the same time being active in nature. And having said this, I would like to underline again the fact that the Azores and Madeira are two fabulous locations, two options for 2021 for your clients. Some of the most sustainable locations in Europe, together with the fact that they're also being relatively spared by the COVID pandemic. So it is a safe, these are two of the safest destinations in Europe, some of the best places to be in contact with nature, very easy to be a little bit separated and away from other people. So it is really an option. I have a couple of questions here, but actually most of them, and I understand that, are related to the technical aspects. Joanna, I have someone asking, for instance, if of course the tests to enter in Madeira are necessary. So if you don't have one, you will have to make one by the time you arrive at the airport. But of course, more and more people have been contaminated. They're no longer positive, and they eventually have a proof
Recovered.
negative. Is that allowed in Madeira, or you really need to present a proof of a negative test?
Yes, we have two cases. So one is that you do the test upon arrival, or if you've been infected or you have recovered, you have to have a document that really proves that you have recovered at least on the past 3 months. So you have to be fully recovered for the past 3 months, 90 days. And the thing is the process is very, very much practical, because you can put all that documentation on the app, Madeira Safe, and then it's very easy for you, quick for you to get out of the airport, and you have the green corridors, so you are oriented by the staff. So the thing is, it's very quick. And the more you use the app, the better, because it will be very, very quick for you and for your clients. So that's pretty much, I don't know any destination that it's doing that right now, this thing with the app. And we've started since summer. So we were very criticized at the beginning when we implemented the tests on July 1st. No destination was doing that. So that is paid by the local government. Okay, so you don't pay for the test. The only thing is that you have to go to the hotel and wait for the results in 12 hours. But if you want, you can bring your test or bring your document vaccine. So, but it's very important that we keep testing people, because not all the population will get vaccinated this year. We are aware of that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're fully right. The only problem is that sometimes when you have been contaminated, let's say 1 month ago, if you do the test, you can still be positive, even if you don't have the COVID anymore. And so that was, I think, the aim of the question of Anne-Françoise. If you can prove that you recovered from the COVID, then it's okay. It's really a good solution.
Yes, I think so.
We've been receiving this kind of questions in the National Tourism Office as well. The difficulty at this moment, to be honest, and it's not concerning the Azores or Madeira only, is that we will need sooner or later a kind of norm that everybody is able to accept. Because, of course, if you have a proof of not being positive done by a doctor, this has to be validated 300 times, and everybody has to be accepting this kind of document. So at this moment, both the Azores and Madeira have followed the path of let's protect our tourists, our tourism, and our inhabitants as well. And the tests, or a negative test, is necessary to reach the island. How is it right now in the Azores, Eduardo? We don't hear you. Micro?
You're on mute.
We're doing quite well, because we've been going down and down and down due to the strict measures that we implemented. We had elections very recently, and the new government decided to designate an independent authority made up of specialists brought from outside of the Azores. So public health specialists, among the most prominent in the country, were brought to the Azores and it is that authority that is now managing each case. So instead of having a general view of the Azores, they've been managing case per case. And just to give you an idea, we had about 900 active cases in the beginning of January, and that number was brought down to around 100 today. Which means that, of course, we are being very, very strict. Although we just have 100 cases on the island of São Miguel, if you want to travel to any of the other islands, you have to do a test before traveling from San Miguel to the other islands, because the other islands have no cases. So we are not going to risk contaminating any of the other islands that are COVID-free. And the strictness with which we have regarded the safety of the people has been very, very beneficial. So we're hoping maybe in 1 or 2 months that we can be completely COVID-free, and then after that, I think it will be much better for anyone traveling to the Azores. Of course, we all know that until the disease and the pandemic is resolved in the countries of origin, people will still not be traveling. But anyway, we will be ready to receive them, which is already something good.
Well, at this moment, there is no way of leaving Belgium anyway. We need to stay in the country. So, of course, the evolution of the pandemic is deciding on traveling in any case, any direction. But we took good note that both the Azores and Madeira are doing the necessary to keep the destinations safe for the coming months. I don't know if anyone has another question. I must say that I'm so looking forward to go back to the Azores and Madeira. These archipelagos are really my detox locations. Every year I need to go there, and I missed the fact I was not able to go there in 2020.
We all miss to travel, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, one of our most known poets, Natalia Correia, used to say that we were bestowed by such beauty that probably we were the inspiring force behind God's creation of beauty. So I guess that's one of the main reasons why we have something for everyone.
That is assuming that is assuming that the Azores were created before God created the rest.
That's why we inspired God.
Exactly. So, well, this is a very profound saying to leave you, and thank you again for participating. Thank you for taking the time, for being with us. We look forward to welcome you and your clients in the Azores and Madeira as soon as we are able to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
See you in Madeira. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Martin.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe. Bye.
Bye.